Paterson, Liberal Senator for Victoria, joined us on the line. Thanks for your time.
Thank you for having me, Steve.
When did you learn that you would not be granted a visa?
On Friday afternoon, I got a call from China Matters, which is the organisation which was sponsoring the visit that Andrew and I were to make to China later this year. And they said they'd been informed from the Chinese embassy here in Australia that, quote, Andrew and I were not welcome at this time in China.
Did they give you a reason?
It wasn't specified initially, but subsequently, as you alluded to in your introduction, the embassy put out a statement which required us to repent and correct our views, and then we might be welcome in the future. So it's very clear that Andrew and my public criticism of the Chinese Communist Party is the reason why we're not welcome in China.
It comes at a time, of course, where we have these leaked documents in the New York Times showing the treatment of the ethnic group, particularly the Uyghurs. You have spoken about human rights records of the Chinese, right?
I have, and particularly about the Uyghurs. It is a deeply disturbing series of revelations in the New York Times yesterday. It shows that what's happening in Xinjiang province is carefully planned and executed, and the language it uses to justify and explain the measures of crackdown on these people is incredibly disturbing. It refers to their beliefs as being a virus that needs to be cured, and that's a profoundly concerning thing.
So I would gather, Senator, that you've got no intention of repenting, as the Chinese describe it.
Absolutely not. It is not up to any government, foreign or domestic, to direct what an Australian parliamentarian can and can't say, and I won't be discouraged in any way from speaking out about these matters.
So when you speak about the goings-on inside China, you're doing so from knowledge?
Well, the best knowledge that we have available, which is what we've got through the media. The other recent report that was incredibly concerning was in the Washington Post that showed satellite images of Uyghur mosques and other religious sites that appear to have been completely demolished. Up to 15,000 of them in Western China have disappeared.
So you were intending to go there with Andrew Hastie. I presume his views are similar to yours about not repenting. Did you, when you applied to go on this trip, were you of the view that you would be granted entry?
Well, Andrew and I both have very similar views, and we were invited, safe in the knowledge of what we'd said on the public record for years about the Chinese Communist Party. So we were a bit surprised when we were rejected, but we were genuinely hoping to go and engage in a good faith dialogue and hear the perspective of our Chinese counterparts, but also take the opportunity to put on the record directly with them some of the concerns that we have.
Great to have you on the program. Just before you go, I note that and you were as a senator, part of the Turnbull government. Malcolm Turnbull and Christopher Pyne on a podcast that has been released in the last couple of days are both saying that Malcolm Turnbull, in his words, said there was no doubt he would have led the coalition to victory at a federal election had he still been Prime Minister in May. Do you agree with that?
I haven't heard Christopher's podcast, but I'm glad he's still contributing to public life in that way. It's very productive of him. We could never know for sure, but certainly the sentiment in the government at the time was very negative about our political prospects.
So you would not agree, or you do agree with Malcolm?
Well, at that time, I don't remember feeling particularly hopeful about our political prospects, that's for sure.
Appreciate your time. Thanks a lot, Senator.
Thanks, Steve.